பேருக்கு ஆங்கிலம் புரியாது? கை தூக்குங்க. எத்தனை பேருக்கு ஆங்கிலம் புரியாது? மூணு பேரா? இங்க பிரபுஸ் எத்தனை பேர் ஆங்கிலம் புரியாது? கை தூக்குங்க. வைக்கப்படாதுங்க. ஓகே, 3. மூணு பேர் ஏதாச்சும் மாத்தாக்கி யாராச்சும் ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ண முடியுமா? ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் ஆனது நீங்கள் அவங்களுக்கு ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ண முடியுமா? இந்த மூணு பேருக்கு நீங்கள் தான் ஹெட் மாஸ்டர். ஓகே.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Saukyama. Okay. Saukya. Nandri. Okay. My Tamil is not good, so I cannot give a whole class in Tamil. So anyway, I will just speak in English if that's all right. I guess it's all right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Shri Shri Radha Krishna Kanela Ki
Jai.
Shri Shri Nittai Gauranga Roy Ki
Jai.
That's correct. Oh, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Well, I'm very happy to be here with you all, nice devotees. Sorry we're late, but too much traffic. So let us say a few words about deities and deity worship. And also, I believe tomorrow, around this time, we'll also say more about deities and deity worship. Nama'am Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyacharne Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Well, it's just a wonderful festival, really wonderful festival, in really wonderful temple. I've been here several times already over the last so many years, and this temple is just one of the most beautiful. It's a fact. In all of Iskcon, not just outside India, but it's just one of the most beautiful. And the deities are so beautiful. This was the closest I've been to them. And they're just so beautiful. Amazing. Really amazing. And I'm sure Srila Prabhupada is very happy with how everything is going, and happy with all of you devotees, and how you're looking after the deities, and how you are spreading Krishna consciousness. So to focus particularly on the deities Lord Chaitanya says in the 22nd chapter of Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya says, Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, Shri Murtir, Shradaya Sevan. These are 5 devotional activities which Lord Chaitanya himself says, these 5 are the best of all. They're the best of all to associate with devotees, chant the holy names, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and to live in Mathura or a sacred place like Mathura, and to worship the deity with faith and veneration, like respect. So these activities are just so important, and one of them is the worship of the deity. And Srila Rupa Goswami, in Nectar of Devotion, along with Srila Prabhupada, they elaborate on these 5 activities in more detail, and actually there's 64 activities, in fact, which are but they're the main devotional activities, or that's all there is. There's just those 64. So with the 5 I just mentioned, we spoke the verse, they are the last 5 in the list of 64. And Srila Rupa Goswami, in order to glorify each of those 5 activities particularly, he says something about each of the 64, but he gives special attention to those last 5. So he gives, like in some quite elaborate glorification, but in regard to some of these 5, actually not all of them, but 3 of the 5, including deity worship, Srila Rupa Goswami glorifies the worship of the deity in a very unusual way. A very unusual way. Apparently, it seems that he criticizes each one. Like, these are not good, including deity worship, not good. Don't do it. But actually he's glorifying. So I'll explain what he says. Basically he says, if you ever go to Vrindavan, then do not go down to Keshi Ghat, where there is the temple of Govinda, Radha Govinda, Govindaji, very famous deity of Krishna. So he says, if you happen to be in that area, be careful. Do not go to see Govinda. Avoid it carefully. Well, actually, he begins by, he's speaking to a friend, And he says, my dear foolish friend, you need some advice. I'm going to give you some guidance here. So my guidance is, don't go and see Govinda. Because if you do, if you go and see Govinda, then all your material attachments to your friends, your relatives, and your house, and your just whatever you've got, all your possessions, your attractions, your attachments to these things, if you see Govinda, all those attractions and attachments will be destroyed, finished. And you'll just stay in that Govinda temple for the rest of your life. And that's it. So be careful. Don't go to see Govinda. In other words, he's saying, you must go and see Govinda, because we're all devotees. We're trying to be devotees. And we want to become free from our attachments to all these ordinary material things. It's just so important to become detached. Yes. If you've got material attachments, then how can you become attached to Krishna? How can you return to the spiritual world? You cannot. You'll just stay here in Penang indefinitely, but not in the temple. So like that, we can also say, if you want to remain materially attached to family, friendship, materialistic love, money, and material comforts and all that, then whatever you do, don't come to the Iskcon temple and don't look at Radha Krishna Kanayana. Just don't do it. It's extremely dangerous. Oh, it's too dangerous. So the thing is, with all of you, it's too late. It's too late. Sorry, you're finished. Your material lives are just finished. And you're on your ways back to Godhead. And even though maybe some of you have one or two little material attachments left, little bit, but just carry on serving Radha Krishna Kadalal and Shishi, Nitai Gauranga Roy, and those little attachments which are left, they'll be finished. And then one day, before you know it, one day you will wake up in the morning and you'll no longer be just somewhere in the suburbs of Penang or Georgetown or whatever it is. You will wake up and you will be in Goloka Vrindavan. Oh yes, it's a fact. It's just a fact. So I apologize. Maybe you were not warned before to be careful about having darshan of the deities. Sorry about that. Anyway, but it's too late. You're finished. Haribol. So yes, so now we've all come to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Krishna Kadaya Lal and Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Roy and Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi. And now we've really got to make the most of it. Really go deeper and deeper into rendering service to them. And that is one of the main things which this festival is about. It's giving us all, each one of us, the opportunity to come closer to the deities and for us to render some service to them, and in this way be recognized by them. So when you walk in, then you may not see it happen because you don't have transcendental vision. But when you come in, Krishna on the altar, he turns around and sees you and points at you. And Krishna says to Srimati Radharani, look, it's one of our devotees. Yes, and I'm not joking either. I mean, it sounds a little humorous, but actually this is what happens. Yes, so they know you, and they know who you are. Don't worry, Radha, Krishna, Kanayalal, and all the deities here, they all speak Tamil. Excellent Tamil. You know, like Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, they're sort of Bengali, you can say. And you don't meet many Bengali people who also speak Tamil, do you? Did you ever? Anyway, I don't think you can meet many, but don't worry. Nitai Gauranga Roy, they are fluent in Tamil. They can speak Tamil so quickly that it sounds just like woo. And even you are educated in Tamil, you may struggle to follow because anyway, yeah. So and a very important part of this whole situation is, did you know that Krishna has a little black notebook? Did you know? You heard about that? Anyway, you're hearing about it now. Krishna has a little black notebook. Maybe he is updated to, an iPhone or something. But anyway, basically he has a note-taking device of some sort. And he has a little pen, and he has a pocket full of like gold stars and silver stars and copper-colored or brass-colored stars. And when he sees you doing service, like some of you were doing kirtan a little while ago, and look at these devotees here, they're still engaged in service, and the others over there also. When Krishna sees that you're rendering some service to him with a nice attitude, you're actually feeling like you want to do something for him, and you're not worried. What am I going to get? Will they pay me? Will I get prasadam? But you're just serving. You're just absorbed in serving. So when Krishna sees that, he writes your name down in his little black iPhone or in his little black noting facility. He writes your name down. And then every time that you come again and do some more service, then, particularly if you're making some progress spiritually and your attitude is becoming more respectful and you're becoming more attentive and careful to how you serve them, and your mood is becoming more appreciative and affectionate towards them. So as you're developing like that, every time they see you coming, then they put a star by your name. And if any of you experience that when you're in school, the Christian does that gold star. If you come in, and if you're a bit, in our Western vernacular, we say if you're a bit spaced out, you don't quite know what's going on, then maybe not a gold star, maybe just a silver star. But the Lord really appreciates when his devotees render some service. You know, when people become very important and famous, then usually they become kind of, in English we'd say callous. Just, you know, they don't care. If people do something for them, they don't thank the person because they're thinking, yes, I'm so important that it's only right when someone is as important as me, then people must praise me and do things for me. So they don't really value if you do any service for them. This is often the case, more often than not, when people become very famous and prominent and they have many fans, followers, that sort of situation, then they just don't notice you because they think I'm so important. But Srila Jiva Goswami, one of our great acharyas, he says in one of his books, what's the name? Anyway, I forget the name offhand. He says in one of his books that even though Krishna is so great, he's so great, he is like an unlimited ocean, just so great. You cannot calculate his greatness. Even sometimes, Prabhupada would say, sometimes even Krishna can't appreciate his greatness because it's always expanding. But anyway, Srila Jiva Goswami says, even though Krishna is so great, he's like an unlimited ocean, but he never forgets even the smallest drop of service. You get the idea? He's like an unlimited ocean. And you may just do, someone may do just little tiny bit of service. It's almost nothing. But Krishna, even though he's so great like that, he never forgets even the smallest drop of service. This is Krishna. This is the character of Krishna. He has so much quality of character, such a wonderful person, that anything done for him, practically by anyone, he notes it and he appreciates it. And it's not just like, who cares? Not at all. So this is the character of Krishna. He is of the highest character. And so he recognizes all the service of everyone, even people who are not devotees. You know, if you're familiar with Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 9th canto, chapter 4, is the very dramatic and amazing story of Devasa Muni being punished for offending great devotee Maharaj Ambarish. And it's a long story, I won't go through the whole story, but at the end, Devasa Muni, he's like a big mystical yogi type of person. He, at the end, because he offended Maharaj Ambarish, who's great devotee, so the Supreme Lord's Sudarshan Chakra was following him and was going to kill him. And Devasa Muni knew that, and he was trying to escape, but he couldn't escape. So in the end, like I said, it's a long story. Actually, the second to last person he went to and appealed to for protection was Lord Shiva. That Lord Shiva, you're so powerful, you're so kind to distressed people. So I'm in distress. Please help me. Save me from this chakra. But Lord Shiva said, it is beyond me, because it is the chakra of the Supreme Lord. And he is so much higher than me. And, you know, what can I do? If his will is like this, there's nothing I can do. And Lord Shiva said, you must go and approach the Lord. The only chance. So again, like I said, it's a long story, but actually, Devasa Muni, even though he's not a devotee, he's definitely not a pure devotee, and he's hardly a devotee if he's a devotee. Yeah, he's just one of these mystical yogi type people who can do some magic, produce something out of thin air, that sort of person. So anyway, he managed to enter the spiritual world temporarily by the arrangement of Lord Shiva, who is one of the guards of the spiritual world. And he gave him like just temporary access. So, Devasa Muni is appealing to the Lord that you're famous for having a very merciful heart. You're very kind to distressed people, and I am very distressed. So please be kind. Give me some mercy from your kind heart. And, I mean, this is slightly off the subject, but it's just a very interesting point. The Lord, when Devasa Muni appeals to him like that, the Lord says, you're right. I have a very merciful heart. But there is a problem with my heart. The problem is, I do not have my heart any longer. I gave it to my devotees. So if you want some mercy from my merciful heart, you must approach Ambarish Maharaj, the devotee. So anyway, then the Lord glorifies the devotees. And he makes a very interesting point. In fact, it's the first point he makes, as recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, chapter 4, I think it's verse 63, it's around there. He says that I don't know. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Kanaya Lal, Sri Sri Nitai Gauranga Roy, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Thank you for the mercy. So the first point the Lord makes to the Vasamuni is that I don't know anyone but my devotees. And my devotees are so dear to me that I'll do anything for them. There's no limit. Nothing is too much. And then he says, and my point here is particularly, he says, what to speak of my devotees, even someone who is a devotee of my devotee is very dear to me, means someone who is not really a devotee of the Lord, but somehow he's attached to a devotee. Just through that person becomes dear to the Lord, because that person is a devotee of a devotee, not really a devotee themselves. Just like I'm sure some of you found, I found very much. My mother, would you believe, my late mother, who was definitely not a devotee, I promise you, of the Lord, but she was a devotee of me. Seriously. Really, she was very dedicated. My gosh. So, and I'm sure with many of you, you have parents and they may even not appreciate that you are a devotee of the Lord. At least in some cases it happens that they would prefer, if you were not a devotee of the Lord, they would prefer that. But still they're very dedicated to you and they help you a lot, like financially or whatever it may be. So it means that your parents are devotees of a devotee. That's you, because you're a devotee. Okay, so anyway, I'm just making the point. The point is, it was connected to that statement of Srila Jiva Goswami that the Lord is so kind and so attentive to his devotees that even though he's so vast and he's got so many devotees, Prabhupada had 5,000 disciples. That's a lot. It's really a lot. And I don't know the details, but as far as I know, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj maybe has 50,000 or something. A lot. Really a lot. But Krishna has billions and trillions and quadrillions and quintillions. And what comes next? Sextillions, septillions, octillions. I don't know what comes next. No, anyway. Zillions. He's got zillions, too many, of devotees. And they're like disciples, you can say. It's the same sort of idea. He's got so many of them. And he knows each one of them personally. In fact, he knows us better than we know ourselves. Sometimes we don't understand. Why did I do that if we do something stupid? Any of you ever done anything stupid? Did you ever do something stupid? Once? One time? Okay. If you've never done anything stupid, but you want to know about it, ask this devotee here. What's your name, Prabhu? Govinda? Gora. Govinda Gora. He'll tell you about it. We were just joking, because I know we've all done plenty of stupid things. And I'm sure you did something one time, and you thought, why did I do that? What was wrong with me? Did that ever happen to you? It did. You can ask him about it. He'll tell you about the experience. But I'm sure you've had enough experience yourselves. So Krishna, he knows every devotee in Penang, including on the island also. Yeah. He knows everyone better than they know themselves, ourselves, yourselves. Yeah, he's like that. And he is extremely concerned about each devotee. He's watching us right now. See, there he is. You see how he and Radharani, they're kind of on a slight angle. They're sort of looking at each other. And, you know, they can hear what I'm saying now, and they're looking at all of you and they're thinking, yeah, look at that one. Yeah. And Radharani is saying, right, I know that one. What a nice devotee. So anyway, the thing is that the Lord knows us better than we know ourselves. And of course, generally we are very concerned about ourselves. We are the most important person in our lives, usually, at least in so many cases. But actually Krishna is more concerned about us than we're concerned about ourselves. That's quite amazing. Krishna's a very special person, and he's so kind. He's so kind that he descends in different types of forms. If you've read Bhagavatam, then even if you just read a bit, then you would know in Bhagavatam there are descriptions of many avatars of the Lord. So many. Yes. So he has so many forms, and one of the types of forms is the deity. There are different types of forms of the Lord, and within each category, each type, there are many different forms. So many deities in Iskcon. You know, if you've been to India, I'm sure many of you have been to India, you've been to Mayapur, Radha Madhava, Vrindavan, Radha Shamsundar, and Mumbai, Radha Rasabihari, etc., etc. These are all different deity forms of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada makes a very interesting and important point, is that, and listen to this because this really applies to you, that the deity, Krishna, decides where to place each of his devotees, which in many cases means where that particular devotee will take birth and live their lives. Like so many of you are born in the sort of Penang area, something like that, and you've been living and you're continuing to live your lives in this area. And Lord Krishna has arranged, Prabhupada makes this point, Lord Krishna has arranged that you are under, if you're a local resident, you are under the care of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Kadayala. Yeah, specifically being placed under their shelter and care and protection, specifically to render service to them. Now, of course, you may travel here and there sometimes. You may go to KL, or, like I said, you may go to India, go to Mayapur. That's fine. That's great. And see the different deities. But if you're a local person, you should know that it was Krishna's conscious decision. He decided to put you under the care of Shri Shri Radha Krishna Kanaya. Yeah. So that's a special thing to bear in mind. It's not just they're the local deities and I'm a local person, so, I go and see them regularly. But actually, you have been placed specifically, deliberately, under their personal care, if you're a local person. Yes, so, it's Diwali. Chinese Diwali. Yeah. As one great person said, "Forgive them, my Lord, they know not what they're doing." Okay, that's enough. You can stop now. Thank you. All right. That's enough. And for those who don't know it, that is fun. That's great fun. That's a joke, by the way. So, yes, where was I? Yes, so Krishna consciousness is completely personal. There's nothing impersonal about Krishna consciousness. We are personalists. I'm sure you've all heard that before. We are not impersonalists. Right? You understand what I mean? We are personalists. And we are actually only personalists. There's nothing impersonal in Krishna consciousness. It's not like we are mainly personalists, but there's also, there's some impersonal things. There's nothing impersonal about Krishna consciousness. It's only personal. And the deity is there, special form of the Lord, which we can see with our conditioned material eyes, and we can touch. I mean, at least, when you become qualified, like you get second initiation, then you can take part in the deity worship. And you can personally worship the deity, when you're ready. So it's very personal. It's not just very personal, it's completely personal. And we should never think of it as being anything other, Krishna consciousness as being anything other than totally 100%, 108% personal. So the Lord appears in the deity form to give the devotees the opportunity to make personal contact. Even just, being here in the temple room and looking at the deities without actually going on the altar, but still you're making personal contact with the deities. And it's extremely important, very, very important. So we're having this festival today and tomorrow, and we should really try and get into it and really try and do some service for the deities. You can ask the devotees, can I help, with whatever? Oh yeah, they're breaking up the flowers for the Pushpa Abhishek. That's nice. And you can ask them, can I help? And hopefully they'll say yes. They may say no, because they understand the value of doing service, the mercy that you get when you do service, and they want to get all the mercy. But generally they'll be cooperative and allow you to help. So yes, Prabhupada, I mentioned actually a couple of days ago, or even yesterday, in Surrender, how Srila Prabhupada was talking once with Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Some of you may have known him, unfortunately. He passed away, but he was very close to Srila Prabhupada, and he was a very senior devotee. And particularly in the last year or so, he was involved in Prabhupada's personal service 24/7 practically. So one day, Srila Prabhupada, speaking to him, Prabhupada raised what we call a rhetorical question. Rhetorical question means it's not really a question. It's in the form of a question, but it's not that the person wants to know. The person already knows. But just sort of for discussion's sake, the person speaks in the form of a question, although he knows the answer already. So Prabhupada said to Bhakti Charu Maharaj, what is Krishna consciousness? And everybody can give some sort of answer to that at least. Then Prabhupada answered the question because, it's a rhetorical question. Not like Prabhupada's trying to figure out what is Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness means to develop a personal relationship with Krishna. But it's disguised as a process. It's disguised as a process. You must do that. You must get up early. You must chant your rounds. You must follow the regulative principles. And all these types of things. You must read the books, etc., etc. It's like a process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It's a process. And even Prabhupada himself referred to it as a process many times. But here he's making the point. It's not simply a process like step A, step B, step C, etc. But Krishna consciousness means we're developing a personal relationship with Krishna. And deity worship is a very essential part of that, because otherwise, if you don't have the deity, of course you may have pictures, and that's, that's nice, but it's not quite the same as the deity. I mean, the Lord is there in pictures of him. That's a fact. But generally not as tangibly and appreciably as when he's in the deity form. Yes. So the Lord descends in the deity form to help us, to really make it clear to us. He is a person, and he's here, and he's part of our lives. Otherwise, the Lord, even though he's so big, he's so important and so wonderful in so many ways, but he's like a very distant authority figure. Very distant. Too distant to have a personal relationship with him, because he's in Goloka, and we are an awfully long way from Goloka. But so he appears in the deity form, so we can interact with him in very personal ways. Even, I did mention, when a devotee has second initiation here, right? They can worship the deity, not with just first initiation, no. You must have second initiation. So, sooner or later, well, some of you, I'm sure, are initiated, but when you're all initiated and you all have second initiation, then you will be able to go on the altar and worship the deity and touch the deity, touch Krishna, yeah, and dress him and massage him. It's very personal to massage someone and dress him and decorate him, put on his tilak and put on some jewelry, garlands like this, so he looks just so beautiful. You have the opportunity to do that yourself. And it's very personal. Very, very personal. So, devotees, this festival we're doing here, you've been doing for the last so many hours, and going to continue tomorrow. It's an opportunity for all of us to come closer to the Lord. First of all, by coming. I hope you're all going to come. Do any of you have to go to work tomorrow? No, you don't. That's good. If any of you feel you have to go to work tomorrow, phone in and say you're sick. And tell them, well, don't tell them, but what it means is you're sick of working. But just tell them you're sick. Can't make it. Can't make it. But tomorrow, I'll be there, don't worry, I'll do my best. And if there's a friendly devotee doctor, they can make out a sick card, Do they do it here? A doctor's little note. Oh yes, he was so sick yesterday, he just couldn't do it, couldn't manage. And if they question you, just tell them, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami told you that you have to come. So come, please come, and bring your friends and your parents and whoever else you can. And really, when you're here, different things will be happening. But really try and absorb yourself in it, in looking at the deity. Tell me one thing, just tell me one thing, devotees. Don't look at the deities for 1 minute, all right? Who can tell me what color clothes the deities are wearing? Put your hand up. Who knows? Without looking. Okay. They're red, basically. Yeah, they're red. So, look, I'll tell you what, he looked. He checked. Anyway, make a note tomorrow what color outfit the deities are wearing, and not just what color, but the particular design and the details. You know what I mean? And what color, don't look, don't look. What color garlands are they wearing? Don't look. What color garlands? Yellow. I mean, there's at least quite a bit of yellow. And some red or whatever. Yeah, we should note these things. Because I tell you what, a lot of devotees come in to see the deities here or wherever in the world, and they walk out, and if you ask them what color clothes that the deities have, they won't be able to tell you. Because it's kind of superficial experience, just like a formality. But when we come to have darshan of the deity, we should really study the deity and actually take the deity into our hearts, through our eyes. We should do that. And then throughout the whole day, we should remember, at least from time to time, we should remember how the deities were looking today. This is all part of Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness means how to become conscious of Krishna. And if you come and see the deities, but when you walk out, you can't remember what color outfit they had on, it means, don't mind me saying it, you're not so conscious of Krishna. Maybe you're in a state we call Krishna unconsciousness, or Krishna semi-consciousness, or something like that. Okay, so there you go, devotees. And tomorrow, well, at least myself, I can say, I think at the same time, is it?
No, your class is earlier.
Oh, 6 o'clock. I'll give a class for an hour or something.
7.
Oh, 7 o'clock. Ah. So you must be here at 6 for the RT. 7 o'clock there'll be a class till 8, I guess.
Yes.
And then the Abhishek, Pushpa, right? So, be here or be square. It's an old saying. But tomorrow, at least for my part, at 7, I'll tell you some stories of deities. There's some really incredible stories, beautiful stories of deities. They really are. And we'll tell you some tomorrow. Hare Krishna.